that's a really important time that mothers can be the real influencers.
And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome. Yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I've always been doing big into archery, and my dad said, "Hey, you guys want to start an archery store?"
That's how it works.
Yes, of course. Let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, as usual, Andrew Maff, and today I'm joined by the amazing Kimberly Grustas, who is the founder over at Good For You Girls. Kimberly, how you doing? You ready for a good show?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Your energy is so fun, so we're going to have a blast. So I like to do the stereotypical thing and kind of let it start off the usual way. Give us a little bit of an intro. Tell us about, yourself, where you've been, how you got started with Good For You Girls, and then we're going to take it from there, okay?
Absolutely. So I'm a creative director by trade. I started my creative journey in publishing, really fast paced. I was also a fitness nut. So I was big into sport nutrition. So my journey in publishing ended up leading me to the sport nutrition arena. And I worked as a creative director for bodybuilding companies, of all things. So it was really great. Fitness models, bodybuilders. So working with ingestibles, supplements, creatine powders, amino acids, protein powders, all of those. That's really where my start to this journey began.
Oh, wow. Okay. So very different from where you're at now. How did you get from kind of like the nutritional side into more of the skincare side?
So I started my own agency in 2000, which was a big leap. I worked for an ad agency. They offered me a partnership, and I decided, nope, it's time for me to separate and go on my own. So I went on my own, and 4 months later, I was pregnant with my first daughter. So it was kind of crazy. And she was born. So I was working sport nutrition. I was working health and beauty because I would go out to the trade shows, and it's ingestibles, or it's a wonderful arena, and naturals were just starting in 2000. Yeah. The awareness, and it was, just the early days of the natural awareness. And, so I worked in my agency for companies, sport nutrition, and then I started to take on health and beauty. And when my first daughter was born, she was born with severe asthma and allergies. So we were talking, she would stop breathing. We would rush her to the emergency room. Wow. There was EpiPens. There was counting her breaths all night long. It was really scary. She also had a lot of food allergies. So we figured her out. And then 2 years later, her sister was born, also had asthma issues, but she also had a hive disorder and eczema. So she had raw skin and, these welts that would appear on her body. So I was one of the early adopters of naturals. There were no scents in my home. There were no candles. I was making my laundry detergent and, only cleaning with baking soda and vinegar. Yeah. And it was just really, I was in my own little world and really research. When you have sick children, I think that's a mom's, moms will do anything. Right. Yeah. So that's really where my journey, because I was familiar with ingestibles, right, in the nutrition world and how they affect your body. Mm-hmm. And so the whole skin issue, that was my awareness to that these chemicals and the chemical exposure, your skin is your largest organ. 65% of what you put on your body gets absorbed through your bloodstream. It also goes right into your bloodstream. There's no digestive system, right? There's nothing to break, stomach acids to break those ingredients down, like, when you eat something. So, again, having sick children was really my awareness of chemical exposure. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter, it was actually, it's a funny story. It's Hannah Montana is actually the reason I started.
Shout out to Miley.
Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. So my oldest daughter, it's crazy. My oldest daughter was 8, and there was a bath set. Now, remember, I had to control everything that went in and on their bodies, right? Because it wasn't just a mild thing. It was, again, hospitalization, EpiPens. It was, so food, again, the food allergies. So I had to control everything. It wasn't, so 8 years old, Target, there was a bath set, Hannah Montana bath set. And my daughter beelined towards it. And she says, Mommy, can we buy this? And I picked it up and I flipped it over and I was like, yeah, no. There is no way, sweet girl, that I am putting this anywhere on your body. It was made in China. It had preservatives up a mile long. It had fragrance. It had dyes. It was toxic. It was toxic. And that really, there was a couple of things that happened. First off, she wanted it, right? She was 8. She wanted a beauty product. She wanted this. She was aware. And secondly, my awareness was, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that brands are slathering this on our children. And so I came back to my office and just did a ton of research. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're slathering. It was the Claire's, and remember the Claire stores, the Justice stores,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the aisle, you're waiting in line, and it was all these little bottles of stuff. And my daughters would grab them like, no, you can't have that. At birthday parties, I was the mom, they would say to me, they would open something and they would say, you're not going to let me use this, are you? Right. And I would say, no, sorry, you can't. I just I can't knowingly put those toxins on your body.
Yeah.
So that was really the beginning. And that's what Good Few Girls, I came up with the name in the shower one day. And that was really the birth of Good Few Girls, because I knew how to do it better. And I knew I could commit. And I figured if there were moms like me, that there were other moms like me who really had the same ethos and really wanted to protect their daughters. And it's not just, it's really a bigger issue than just, a bad ingredient. Girls are susceptible during puberty to what we call estrogenic ingredients, meaning that there are certain ingredients that mimic estrogen within the body.
Mm-hmm.
So these are dyes, these are fragrance, these are preservatives. And so if you look at your body is a very organic machine, right? You eat a carbohydrate, your body knows what to do with it. You eat a protein, your body knows what to do with it, right? Sugar, fat, all of that. Your body says, okay, and it puts in these little compartments. When you now introduce a synthetic to your body, whether it be ingesting it or putting it on your body doesn't know what it is. But the closest chemical compound that we have are hormones, and moreover, estrogen. So that's why we call of these. So they mimic estrogen in the body. And we now know there's been studies that go back to 2008 when I launched this company that show that the earlier a girl enters puberty, the greater risk she's at for cancer and disease as an adult. This is, again, one of those reasons that, the HRT got, hormone replacement therapy for women got a big bad rap. Oh, we can't increase the levels of estrogen. It leads to breast cancer, all of those things. So the transition that happens in puberty, because puberty starts in the pituitary gland, right? And it's this cascade. Yeah. And so when the body is giving out these little signals that it's ready for the estrogen, that hits the reproductive system and says, okay, it's time to start. And so any extra estrogen or signals of estrogen that girls are receiving will and do contribute to that. Yeah. And boys, by the way, are not immune. So there's, you see, right, 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, boys can actually develop breasts. And that is what's happening with boys. And then when their natural testosterone kicks in, it negates that, pushes down that estrogen. But we see that estrogen surge in boys as well during the puberty years.
I'd like to take a moment from today's episode to thank our sponsors, Revenued. Unlike traditional lenders, Revonud provides working capital to SMBs that is based on your revenue, not your personal credit score. With Revenud's FlexLine, draw funds in a click of a button and only pay for what you use. Also, there's no application, maintenance, or draw fees. Applying is easy. Go to Revonud.com and get a decision in as fast as an hour. Join thousands of business owners who choose Revonud for their working capital needs. Again, that's Revonud.com.
You know, it's very interesting, the timing of this conversation, because this has actually been, in a similar light, a very hot topic in our house lately. Because while a lot of what we're talking about right now is from a skincare perspective,
Yep.
we've started to really look at the stuff that's in the food you're eating. It's very similar,
Absolutely.
where it's like you
Absolutely.
can't pronounce half of it, and then you start looking into it. And so now there's, I don't want to call it a trend because it's really more of just like a lifestyle kind of thing, but like the clean eating element is starting to become
Yeah, you
more
know,
and more
again,
prevalent.
I'm one of those early adopters of it all. I knew
Yeah.
this awareness, and I think every generation thinks that they discovered something, which is kind of
Yeah.
fun. But no, you're absolutely right. And the thing is it's about little trace amounts, right?
Yeah.
It's this and
Adds
oh, it's
up.
not going to hurt you. It's only little. It's only a little. It's only a little. Well, the problem is it's the buildup of all of it, right?
Yeah.
So one thing you're eating might not have a lot, but all the other things that you're eating has more of it, right? So I think it's really important, and we as moms do so much for our babies, our children when they're babies. Oh my gosh, there isn't anything we would, wouldn't do. We wouldn't buy linen sheets for ourselves, but we're certainly going to buy them for, right. And the cotton and all the organic, right. And we buy it for our children. And so the same, the same reasons you protect a baby from chemicals, it's the same reason. This is the second growth and development in a young girl's life is puberty. So it's so important that we just continue to maintain that level of protection. And then again, my whole feeling is if a girl really learns to love her body, protect her body, or know that it's important, this is a lesson she's going to have for her whole life. I care about my body. I want to know what goes in it and on it. And moms are a huge impetus to that. Moms really have an amazing opportunity with their daughters. I didn't want to say no to my daughter. I knew that she wanted something, and she did go into puberty earlier. And so I knew she needed something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really important time that mothers can be the real influencers, because that's a whole nother hot topic. The real influence in their daughters' lives, and a great opportunity for conversation.
Yeah.
So that's really what I'm all about is just really putting it there and saying, hey, listen, we're here. If we're here for you.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm curious about, I know that the whole like transition of going from, using topicals or eating things that just have these ridiculous stuff in you, like kind of the more clean lifestyles I've always referred to it, that is a tough message to teach, right? Like the education to the consumer of here's why it's better, here's why you don't want X ingredient all over your body when you're showering or something like that. Like that educational piece is difficult. Then you're targeting tween girls. So a tough audience to reach at this time, I would guess probably a strong TikTok approach, but they're your end consumer. However, I'm going to assume that your customer is probably the moms or the dads that are purchasing these
Moms,
things.
grandma, aunts, dads.
So what's been your messaging approach? How are you kind of educating and who are you targeting?
It's the parents.
Yeah.
I am very, very strong in my belief that there is no brand that should be in a child's bathroom. I I die on that hill, as they say.
Yeah.
It has to be through the parents. And again, I just feel that that's where the influence has to come from. It's from the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is tough. It is tough when you have that philosophy sometimes as a small brand. I have to make a choice. But ultimately, I think my customers appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
The same way they appreciate the type of thought and process that goes through into my ingredients, and that they appreciate my approach.
Yeah.
And so, again, you have to pick your battles, and that is definitely something that's been day one built into my decision about the brand.
What are you doing? What's been your marketing approach to reach that audience?
Oh, excuse me, I have a cough. um, so traditional media, Facebook, Instagram. We actually do email lists, if you can believe it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
email's
yeah,
killing it.
huh?
Email's
You know,
great.
I know. It's so
Yeah.
it's like a pendulum. Like everything swings. You know, TikTok came out all roaring and whatever, and you know, it is what it is. I think they'll burn themselves out a little bit. Again, the TikTok shop and the whole thing, they're trying to compete with Amazon, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it's now just a sales. It's a 24-hour infomercial is really what TikTok has
Yeah.
become, right?
Yep.
They might as well call it online shopping. I mean, that's all honestly what it is. And again, I don't like the damaging effects that these influencers have on younger people as well. You
Yeah.
know, when girls are at a certain age, they don't have that critical thinking. They don't have that, oh, they're just trying to sell me something. And there is no transparency to that, right? So while I haven't done anything with TikTok. I mean, we have a TikTok, that it's literally just me. I hate it. Honestly, I'm not, I hate it. I hate it. It's just one of those things. But that's really where we are. But we have our email list from our customers, so we're kind of keep in touch with them. But honestly, it's very transient because right, the girls come in, they hang with us for a while, they buy all our products, and then then they'll move on.
Yeah.
But we hope when they move on that they're better educated,
Yeah.
right? And we've had girls that have started, gosh, using our products when they were 11, and they still buy them in college. Right? And that for me, I mean, I see those names come by and I know because they reach out to me, and then the daughter will use it, and then the mother will use it, and the mom will say, "Oh my gosh, I love it." And they'll steal it from their daughter. And I say, "You shouldn't steal it from your daughter, just buy your own." So it really is for me, that consumer journey is super important. And
Yeah.
I will sacrifice the blow up for that really great customer experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously the brand, obviously Good For You Girls, clearly marketed to girls. It's
Yes.
targeting a tween audience, but it sounds to me, and obviously please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like the product in itself, like it really could be work just as well for anyone at
Oh,
any age.
absolutely. The whole idea with the girls, it's a time of her life where, it's the ID bracelets, it's the BFF, right?
Hmm.
It's gaining its identity. And so I wanted a product that wasn't your mom's product that she just stuck in front of you and told you to use, right?
Yeah.
I wanted something that they could identify with and claim as their own, because I
Okay.
think that that's super important. And the time that they spend in the mirror, 5 minutes washing their face, there's a whole lot of psychology that goes behind that. And as the mom of two girls, I recognize that, right?
Yeah.
There's that ownership, there's that pride. And yes, boys can absolutely use it, moms can use it, but I've been chastised a lot for not being gender neutral. I have. And I don't care, right?
Yeah.
I like we are who we are, and that is an important distinction for me.
Yeah.
Is because and girls, if any mom out there has a 12-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy, the boy moms know that it's hard enough to get your son to bathe, right?
Yeah.
They think the swimming pool is their shower, right?
Yeah.
So it's, again, it's a journey, right? It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
And when they're wanting control, and there's a lot of young girls out there today that think they need makeup and eyeliner and mascara, and it's surprising what happens when you give them Good For You Girls. They don't want those things anymore. All of those issues and those things that they thought that they wanted, when they're taking care of their skin and their skin looks great, feels great, it's very satisfying That's why, to a girl going, an early stage, because that's ultimately what she wants. Is she wants to feel in control of that journey. And I've had moms, ask me, when should my daughter wear makeup? And I tell them flat out, I say, that's your decision when she wears makeup, but tell her she's got to commit to a face washing routine for at least 3 months. If she can commit to washing her face for 3 months, then she can introduce the makeup. Because if they don't have that routine and they're not in that regimen and they introduce all the bacteria, then you've just got a nightmare. And then it's really hard to backtrack. It's really hard to backtrack from that.
Yeah.
So healthy skin doesn't need to be covered up. And so that's that.
What's the plan with the business going forward? Is the thought to expand the product line, or are you thinking you'll start creating products to kind of follow their life cycle as, as
No, I know. And I've been, there's a lot of people giving me all kinds of advice saying I should extend the life cycle, but I don't want to compete with the brands that are selling to 25-year-olds. I really don't, right? Because again, the whole reason I'm here is because those brands were ignoring this consumer. That's the whole reason I'm here. And so, yes, there are new products launching. So the line is for the face and the body. So we have some additional products that we're launching. But the other thing too is to keep it simple, right? The whole idea is to not overwhelm this consumer and to show her that it is simple. They don't need 14 products. They need a cleanser. And, people, again, the toner is not a traditional toner where it's, remember my day, it was that Seabreeze alcohol burn your skin. This toner is very, very different. So we like the 3-step cleanse, tone, moisturize. And that's simply all they need. So yeah, we'll only expand the line for what we feel that she really needs.
Yeah. Beautiful. Super excited to see where it goes. Kimberly, thank you so much for being on the show. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're super busy, but I'd love to give you the opportunity. Yeah. Please tell everyone where they can find out more about you, or of course, more about Good For You Girls.
So goodforyougirls.com. And it's all spelled out good for FORYOUGIRLS.com.
Easy enough.
All right.
Kimberly, thank you so much for being on the show. Everyone who tuned in, of course, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to the ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.